We got a new Sunny V2. This is why Facebook and Instagram have been failing.
Facebook stock price has fallen by over 50% in only 7 months. What's going on? Well, let's begin by looking at the day on which this price decline began. The 2nd of February 2022, when the parent company of Facebook and Instagram lost $230 billion of value in less than 24 hours. Just to give you an idea about how much money $230 billion is, the total GDP of New Zealand, being the value of every single product or service produced by the entire country for the whole year, was only 210 billion, which is less than what Facebook lost in a day. So what went wrong on this fateful day in February when Meta set the record for the highest one-day value
New Zealand in a
stock
year
market history? To put it simply, this
what they use in a year, they lost in less than 24 hours. That is absolutely insane.
Was the day on which Facebook revealed to the public that both their site usage and revenue has been declining. Shown on screen is a graph displaying the amount of daily active Facebook users over the last 10 years. For every quarter besides the first 3 months of the pandemic, growth in the Facebook user base was almost strangely consistent. However,
I don't know too many people using Facebook.
2021, for the first time in the website's history, user growth flattened off substantially. When looking at the graph for monthly Facebook users as opposed to daily Facebook users, the data is similar. Only 0.1% growth from October to January, 0.8% from January to April, and then even a decline of 0.07% from April to July. Surprisingly, or perhaps unsurprisingly, Instagram follows a similar trend to Facebook. Nothing but growth from 2015 until 2021, at which point stagnation hits. Why? Well, the first reason behind Facebook and Instagram's user growth stagnation is somewhat of an impressive problem. They're battling with human population limits and have run out of new countries to expand into. Of the 8 billion people on Earth, 3 billion log into Facebook at least once a month, leaving 5 billion people that don't use the service regularly. Of these 5 billion remaining, 1.7 billion live in countries such as China, Iran, and Russia, where Facebook and Instagram have been banned by the government, leaving only 3.3 billion who aren't using the service. According to an article written by the New York Times, another 3 billion do not use the internet at home or on their phones, and in some of the world's most populated countries, including Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nigeria, a majority of people are not online. If you then factor in another 15% of the global population who are under the age of 10, making them too young to
Honestly, I do forget that sometimes, that there's some people who just ain't chilling online. Like, I really gotta step back and remember that sometimes. Like, shit, this is a reality. Like, especially when I go to Mexico, I'm like, wow. I forget this is real. this is what's happening out here. That's crazy.
Social media at all, then pile on the hordes of people who
I don't know Facebook, Instagram,
social media altogether. YouTube. Facebook and Instagram's problem becomes.
Most of them actually do know YouTube. I think YouTube is known almost everywhere actually, but like they don't know a lot of stuff down like where my dad is from.
Obvious. They're running out of humans. In an article written by Time titled Inside Facebook's Plan to Wire the World, it explains how Zuckerberg is working to literally provide the entire third world with the internet because it's now the only way that Meta can reach new people. Connecting the entire world wouldn't actually literally be possible unless everybody in the world were on the internet. So Zuckerberg has decided to make sure everybody is. This sounds like the kind of thing you say you're gonna do but never actually do, but Zuckerberg is doing it. He is in Chandoli today on a campaign to make sure that actually literally every single human being on Earth has an internet connection.
We really want to get the next billion people online. And if we can play a role, then that's something that I personally care a lot about.
Is it selfish for Zuckerberg to connect the entire world to the internet just so he can get more people onto Facebook and Instagram? Or is it a win-win situation for everyone? That's an ethical conundrum for you to consider. However, this might not even be the main problem, as Meta isn't only running out of new people to introduce the services to, but those who are currently active on the services are departing in droves. Somewhat hilariously, Facebook has lost 1% or 30 million of its users to that pesky little thing known as death, and with 12.1% of Facebook's user base being over the age of 55, this number will inevitably increase as time progresses. Yet Facebook should probably be less worried about the boomers and a little more concerned about the zoomers, as Facebook's biggest loss in user count stems from the younger generation. Back in 2018, Facebook demographics began to follow
there's not a lot of them using
trend. There was an increase increase in users from the older generation, little change from those in their middle age, and a pretty substantial loss in users.
I think everybody
from those
just
under
uses
the
what,
age of
TikTok?
55. 1 year later in
Snapchat?
2019, another piece of
I don't
data was
use
published
Snapchat. I don't
supporting a
even
similar
know.
trend, only to a
do
more
people
severe
use?
degree. There was a slight increase from the oldies, barely any change for the middle age crowd, and again a massive 17%
Twitter.
decline in only 2
Twitter's like
years
the
for
place.
those
I
using
always forget.
Facebook under the age of 34.
My brain just like
After
clocked.
seeing this data, it's no surprise that
exists.
Facebook has also earned the title of a social media's retirement home. It's definitely developed a reputation as a platform mainly used by the older generation. The problem with this is that the younger generation wants to use whichever social media app their friends are on, as opposed to the app that their grandma is on. This might
Right.
also account for why it's become such a trend for young people to hate on Facebook. Who the hell uses Facebook anymore is without a doubt something you've heard from a friend
That's what
or
a lot
your
of people
favorite large
says.
influencer, and it seems as though this attitude is doing serious damage to the platform, as when looking at the most recent data for how many youngsters are using the platform in 2022, the numbers begin to get scary. When US teens were surveyed in 2014 to 2015,
YouTube is
71% said that they used Facebook at all. However, over the last 7 years, this number has more than halved to only 32% recently, representing the biggest decline out of any social media
That's a
platform.
massive
And when
decline.
looking a little closer at the graph displayed on screen, the reason becomes pretty damn obvious. Competition. Teens just don't find value in Facebook anymore. There are now well over 5 strongly positioned social media platforms to endlessly scroll through, and it isn't sustainable for our minds to compartmentalize nor prioritize our relationship with all of them. For the sake of time and sanity, people have to eliminate platforms that begin to lack a value-add incentive. Facebook, which teens often associate with their parents, has little to offer Gen Z. Zuckerberg himself even echoed this sentiment. When Meta's stock price began to decline 7 months ago, he stated that they were facing unprecedented levels of competition and that people have a lot of choices for
Yeah,
how
so
they
they're
want to
aware.
spend their time, and apps
least
like
they know.
TikTok are growing very quickly. Going back to the data, we can see that the Gen Z big 4 social media platforms are Snapchat at number 4, Instagram at number 3, TikTok at number 2, and YouTube way out in front with over 95% of
Right.
US teens using it. When examining each of these big 4 platforms, the value they add or the edge that they have is obvious. YouTube long form video, TikTok short form video, Instagram images and photography, Snapchat photo messaging. Even Twitter has a discernible edge as a platform for those who want to follow politics and the celebrity world. However, when looking at Facebook, the value it adds or the edge that it has
I only use
isn't
like
all
2 out
that
of 5 of
obvious.
those.
The general vibe that Facebook gives is that
But
it's
only
a
really
watered
one.
down, weaker version of the 4
YouTube.
most popular apps combined, and it's diversified to the point where rather than being strong in one area, it's just kind of weak in all areas. When Facebook's stock price began to decline 7 months ago, Zuckerberg announced that their focus was going to be on short form video, but it's obvious that the Facebook algorithm is poor in comparison to YouTube and TikTok, and what's
I
the
feel
point
like
of
it was
going on
too
Facebook
late.
to see your friends' photos when they're posted to Instagram anyway? Facebook definitely has a bit of an edge with Messenger, but this is still in very close competition with Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and good old-fashioned text message. Perhaps this is also why Zuckerberg has started to put his focus and $10 billion into creating the metaverse. He understands that Facebook's edge lies in
I don't
providing
know
the
how
best
well that's going
circumstances
either.
for online
That's a
social interaction.
interesting
And if
project.
Zuckerberg can pull it off in a way that's interesting, accessible to everyone, and not cringy, it sounds like a pretty cool concept despite the online metaverse hate train. Additionally, the metaverse is theoretically a product that will appeal to
Maybe
the
they'll
younger
get it
audience
down.
who are departing Facebook in
Surely.
droves. In an article written by Forbes, this was highlighted as the main reason behind the metaverse's development. If it wants an app
beginning
to
looks
win back
sketch.
young people, it will need to build it itself. And Zuckerberg seems to feel a VR-centered metaverse will do this. We're retooling our team to make young adults our North Star, he said on last week's Wall Street conference call. The other thing that Zuckerberg seems to have going for him is that, as highlighted by the previous data, it seems as though many of Facebook's young former users are simply migrating to his other product, Instagram, which is clearly not in the same dire straits that Facebook is in. However, it's not like Instagram hasn't been without complaints recently. What the hell is going on with the new Instagram update, May 2022? Why has Instagram changed? The app looks different and users hate it. June 2022. Why is everyone saying Instagram is rubbish now, and what's TikTok got to do with
what's
it?
wrong with
July
it?
2022. All of these
don't
articles
really get
touch
on
on
these,
the
so, like,
exact
I
same
don't know.
current complaint about Instagram. It's drifting away from its roots in an attempt to become TikTok. It used to be a place for pictures of food, travel, maybe short
That
videos
makes
and
sense. They gotta
stories.
adapt to
like
the
Facebook,
times.
your Instagram feed was mostly filled with people you know, or brands or influencers.
Oh, that
you
makes
chose to
sense. So like instead of putting the like shorts and stuff on Facebook, they just moved it over to Instagram. I mean, it makes sense. It works. Obviously, they went up on the more users, so
follow.
Probably
That's all
weird, but
changed
people
now,
seem to
though.
like
It
it.
seems Instagram is trying to be TikTok. As a result of these drastic changes to the platform, Kendall Jenner and Kim Kardashian would both post a story for their combined 686 million Instagram followers stating, "Make Instagram Instagram again. Stop trying to be TikTok. I just want to see cute photos of my friends. Sincerely,
Oh.
everyone." However, it's not like celebrities have been the only ones to notice such changes. If I really wanted another TikTok on my phone, I would have
Maybe people don't
downloaded
like it.
TikTok. What's up with the Instagram feed? Y'all are supposed to be competing, not copying, LMAO. This new Instagram immersive feed has got to be one of the worst updates to an app I have ever seen, LOL. In a split second, my Instagram
I
turned
guess
into
where else do you
TikTok,
post
with my
pictures
mostly
besides
photography feed
Facebook
turning
and
into
Twitter?
video. I love TikTok for
If
what
you go to
it is,
Instagram,
but
you're
this is
probably trying to
bullshit.
just
They've
avoid
ruined
Twitter.
Instagram.
Like-
What's even funnier is that despite making all of
That
these
actually makes
changes,
sense.
an
You're
article
probably trying to
published this
avoid
month
Twitter
by the
and
Wall
TikTok.
Street Journal
So that
outlined that
makes sense, I
Instagram is
guess.
still nowhere near competing with TikTok. The article stated, Instagram users cumulatively are spending 17.6 million hours a day watching Reels, less than 1/10 of the 197.8 million hours TikTok users spend each day
Jesus,
on
that
that
is a
platform.
lot of
Reels engagement had been
hours.
falling, down 13.6% over the previous 4 weeks, and that most Reels users have no engagement whatsoever. When referring back to Instagram's quarterly revenue chart, these negative changes seem to reflect in the flatline seen over the last 12 months. Is Instagram running into the same problem as Facebook, trying to compete with everything whilst losing their edge in the process?
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe they'll come up with some new updates that'll make them bounce back. I could see it happening with Instagram, but I don't know about Facebook. I think they are kind of just doomed. They have already such like a hatred on them. I don't know. Be interesting.